What's up everybody, Jack of Many Trades here, back again with another video. Today we're going to be doing a review of the brand new Apple Watch Ultra. I've had this since its release, so I've been using this every single day, and I'd like to give you my thoughts as an average person. I'm not a professional athlete, I don't do any kind of crazy workouts or anything. So just as an average person who really enjoyed the original Apple Watches, but doesn't necessarily have a ton of use for all of the fitness features. One of the first things that I think is incredibly important about this new update to the Apple Watch lineup is the battery life on this. I know for me personally, I came from the Apple Watch Series 6 and the Series 2 before that. And the Series 2, I was able to get about a day and a half worth of usage when I first got it. Since then, though, the battery is depleted quite a bit, and so now you're kind of lucky if you get a full day out of it. It really depends on, kind of a lot of factors, but it wasn't really that great of an experience. Then I upgraded to the Series 6. That was able to give me a solid day worth of usage out of it. I could go a little bit more, but I usually charged my watch every morning just to make sure that I had enough juice for the rest of the day. With this watch, though, you have significantly improved battery life. With this one, with regular usage, doing workout occasionally, having all of the features on and active at all times, I get easily 2 full days out of this. By the second morning, I'll be right around 30%. 35% thereabouts, which is honestly probably enough for another half of a day, but I usually charge it at that point. So again, this is quite a bit better than the previous Apple Watches. You do get a lot more battery life out of this, and with future Apple Watch updates, Apple says that if you use their low power mode, you'll be able to get up to 60 hours of usage out of this, which is pretty crazy. So if you are a person who does really long workouts, you can actually get through marathons, Ironmans, whatever. This Apple Watch is capable of doing that now, which is really nice to see. Unfortunately, we didn't get this type of battery life earlier, but it's good to see that we have it now. Another thing that for me as just an average consumer, not really a professional athlete, finds really useful about this Apple Watch over other ones is that this one comes standard with the sapphire glass. I know that you could get Apple Watches before with the sapphire glass, but they were always more expensive and you never got new features with them, so I never really felt the need to go ahead and spend an extra couple $100s to get that. Just wasn't really worth it for me. But what's nice about this brand new one with the Apple Watch Ultra is that you now get, as standard, sapphire crystal on the front, titanium casing, and obviously you get your ceramic backplate. So this is going to be a really sturdy watch for daily use, for intense hiking, climbing, anything that you want to do, this watch is up to it. And with that sapphire glass, you're not going to have to worry about getting scratches or anything. I've bumped this into the wall and into doors a couple of times already, and as you can see, if I catch the glare there, there's no scratches whatsoever. Even the titanium case, there's not really any chips or dings or anything. So this is a really durable watch. It'll do you really well. So as you can see here, I have the orange Alpine loop on. I just thought that this was kind of one of the cooler new Apple Watch bands that they came out with. One thing to note about this one is that it can get a little bit uncomfortable if you have it too tight, so make sure that you don't over tighten this on your wrist, otherwise it can kind of dig in to your wrist with this nylon. That's just one thing to watch out for with the Alpine loop. If you have it too tight, it can get a little bit uncomfortable. This is also not a really water resistant band, so if you are somebody who likes to go swimming, I would suggest getting the ocean band with yours, because this one will take on water and it'll get kind of soggy. So definitely not the best for any type of water sports. I would have other bands on hand if you're going to be doing stuff like that. All right, so here's a feature that I think is a little bit overlooked in a lot of videos, is this new watch face, which is exclusive to the Apple Watch Ultra. This one is called the Wayfinder watch face. What makes this one special is that you have more complications than on any other watch face right now. So you can have 4 on the outer ring, and you can also have another 4 on the inner ring. So as you can see here, up in the top left, I have my elevation and inclination or declination. So if I tilt this a little bit, you can see that the degrees change. I also have weather up on the top right here. Down on the bottom left, I have my calendar, so it'll show me any events that are coming up. I have my activity, so I can keep an eye on that. In the bottom middle, I have a level and a compass. On the left side of the middle, I have my waypoints. So if I'm out on a walk or a hike or something, and I need to find my way back, I can quickly open that up and see where I'm at. On here, the right side, I have the current temperature and the high and low for the day. And up at the top, we have, of course, the day. And additionally, if you tap on the bezel here, I have this set to show latitude and longitude coordinates. And as you rotate it around, you'll see where north, south, east, and west are. So that's a really great feature to have. I honestly can't recommend this watch face enough. They did a really great job of designing a watch face that's both informative and easy on the eyes. It doesn't look like there's too much going on here, which is really important, especially because there is quite a bit of stuff on the display. All right, so one of the other features that is new to the Apple Watch Ultra is this orange button here. This is called the Action button. You can program this to do a number of functions. So if we go here and then to our Settings app and then down to Action button, as you can see, the Action button, if you hold it, it will turn on the siren, which is extremely loud and can be heard about a quarter mile away. And here, for just a regular press of the Action button, you can set it to start a workout, start a stopwatch, drop a waypoint, initiate a backtrack, start a dive, open a flashlight, perform a shortcut, or you can just turn it off altogether. So not a whole ton of actions can be done with this, but it's nice to see that you actually have the option. All right, so another upgrade for the Apple Watch Ultra is that the size is now 49 millimeters. Previously, with the Series 6 and Series 7, you could get 44 millimeter sizes, which was pretty good. It was quite a bit bigger than the old 42 millimeter watch sizes that you could get with the Series 2. But with the Apple Watch Ultra, now we have a 49 millimeter size, and that's the only size available. So you're going to be able to see things really clearly on this display. Everything is quite substantially bigger and easier to read. So if you get text messages, you're going to be able to read them easier. Anything that you get on this is going to be quite a bit better than in previous iterations of the Apple Watch. All right, so another big feature for me coming from the Series 6, I know that this is not a new feature. This was actually introduced with the Series 7 Apple Watches, but you now have the ability to use a full keyboard instead of having to always rely on either quick suggestions, Siri, or your Scribble. Now you can actually just tap in a message field like this and you're brought with a full keyboard. And this keyboard does support swipe. And as a side note, this keyboard is actually really, really good. For its size, if you use the swipe feature, I generally don't have to correct too much, if at all. So if we type a little bit, this is going to be a little bit hard because it's on a slippery surface, but let's just say, I don't know, write the word egg, whatever. If you do make a mistake somewhere in the middle of the word and it's not brought up as a suggestion down here, what you can do is use the digital crown, and by swiping down, it'll move your cursor back. If you swipe up, it'll move your cursor forward. And you can just push the back button, or you can tap on the quick suggestions. The other thing that's really cool about this is that just like on your iPhone, if you type in a word that has an emoji, so let's just say, so if you type in tree, you see that we have tree emojis. So if you tap that, it'll replace the word with the emoji. You also have your regular emojis, so your most reused, any of these other ones. So that's kind of a nice feature. Also, if you push on the little arrow here, you have options, so you can use scribble if you want, dictation, or you could just stick with the keyboard. So you don't lose out on any of the features that were a part of watchOS, but you get new features. So that's really nice. And like I said, with this 49mm display, it's really easy, if this is on your wrist, to actually type out a message and not get errors. Which also brings me to another point about the new Apple Watch, is that all of the Apple Watch Ultra models, there's only one, and this comes with cellular. So if you do want to get a data plan for your Apple Watch, you'll have your phone number linked to it, so you can make calls, receive calls, send and receive text messages, and get data wherever you go. So that's a really, really good thing to have. All right, so those are the main features that I think really make this brand new Apple Watch Ultra something that you should consider if you're in the market for a new watch. Like I said, I'm not really a professional athlete, so I'm not talking too much about the fitness features that are available on this, although it is notable that this watch is the most water-resistant Apple Watch to date. This has a WR100 water resistance rating, which means that you can submerge this up to 100 meters below the surface. So if you are doing any sort of diving, this watch is actually up to the task. Additionally, this can sense water temperatures, which is really nice. So if you are underwater, it'll tell you your depth down to about 40 meters, and it'll also give you a sense of what the temperature of the water is. There's going to be some third-party apps like Oceanic Plus is coming out, which will turn this into more of a dive computer. So it'll give you relevant statistics that you would want to see while you're on a dive. But that will be a subscription-based service, and it's not provided directly by Apple. Apple just provides a basic dive app, which will show you your current depth and the water temperature, and it can record all of that information in the Health app for you to take a look at after your dive. But overall, I would say that this watch is worth it if you're looking for an Apple Watch to last you a lot longer than previous Apple Watches. You're looking for an Apple Watch that's much sturdier than every other Apple Watch that's come out to date. And you want to get all of the new features, like your temperature sensor, which is really potentially useful for women trying to have children. You can have the Apple Watch record your temperatures and get a sense of where you are in your cycle, so that's kind of a nice feature to have if that applies to you. Additionally, this watch has crash detection, so if you are ever in a car accident, this will sense that and it'll call the authorities to get you some help if you are unresponsive. So this could save your life in that regard. This also has much better GPS than previous Apple Watches. This has a dual band GPS. So you're going to get a lot more precise reading on your location than you were before. And so that'll really help out with the Wayfinder apps. So if you're dropping waypoints out in the middle of nowhere, it'll be able to accurately guide you back to your waypoints if you're using Backtrack. Yeah, so overall, if you are a fan of this new, more rugged industrial design and you want to get the best battery life in an Apple Watch with the biggest display, the brightest display, and the most amount of features, and the best water resistance, you honestly can't go wrong with the Apple Watch Ultra. And I think one of the best things that Apple did with this new watch is price it at $799. A lot of us were thinking that this was going to come in at $1,000 minimum. So it's really nice to see that it's $800. $800 is still very expensive for an Apple Watch, but I think, you know, it's pretty justifiable. You get a really high quality titanium case, you get really good GPS, dual band, you get cellular, like I said, the sapphire crystal glass on the front, ceramic on the back. Overall, it's just a really great package. And honestly, this watch, a lot of people have said that it's, you know, kind of chunky, it's kind of ugly, whatever. That's not really been my experience. Pretty much everybody that I've gone up to and shown this to has really liked the design and thought that it actually looked quite a bit more premium than an $800 watch. So, you know, I think even if you were to go to some sort of fancy event, I don't think that this Apple Watch would be particularly out of place. And even if it was, you could conceal it underneath your cuff. So I don't think that that's an issue. The one thing that I would do if I were going to a more upscale event, though, is switch out this band. This orange is very bright, and so I would switch it to a more muted band, which the nice thing is that if you've been an Apple Watch user for a long time and you've always gone for the large ones, all of those bands all the way back to the Series 1 will still work with this Apple Watch. So that is really great news. But with that, I would like to thank you guys for tuning in, and please like, comment, and subscribe.